Here, I'm going to share with you three, not six, three types, body types that influence the end part of the psychology that make up you. And I want you to kind of hang in there with me because I'm going to go through each of these three types in very minor details. So you'll get this right away. You'll get some real juice from this. And also the strength that comes with each of these body types and the kryptonite that limits your superpowers. So hopefully you enjoy this little piece. I was working with a client yesterday, and he was talking about his daughter and that she had a lot of trouble exercising and being inspired for fitness and those kind of things. And so the more we went through it, he was saying that, you know, she was overweight, and he had grown up being overweight and teased, and he was really frustrated as a dad to get her moving. And so I kind of knew I was talking to the 12-year-old version of him because his daughter's 12. And I figured that he's got some pains and some wounds there that probably he hasn't addressed yet. He's just a young dad. So I kind of knew who I was speaking to when I was talking with him. And the point to this was, as I outlined what I'm about to share with you here with him, you could just see his eyes lighting up with not only an understanding of what I was saying, but a kind of an embodiment of what I was saying, because who I was really speaking to was him and his persona and how he's kind of laid out. And so he had a deep empathy, let's say, for and being able to see his limitations in his daughter, and also what he's able to do. So we were able to strategize a little bit about that. So I'm going to introduce you to these three types. Now, these three types were introduced to me, well, actually, quite a number of years ago. Ayurvedic talks about the doshas like Veta, Kapha, and Pitta types. Those are different body types or different kind of architectures. Veta's kind of like thin and lean, and Pitta's more muscular, and Kapha's a little bit more kind of on the pudgier side, the softer side, so to speak, of the body types. But so speaking to that, I just want to kind of like break something down very, very simple for you, because it talks about each individual needs. And I didn't really hear that in Ayurvedic. They talk about like nutritional strategies and things like that. This one that I learned in the Master's Game, a book called The Master's Game, one of my favorite books of all time. They outline it this way. So I just thought I'd mention to you. So there's three main types. And you see here, it says viscerotonic. Viscerotonic people have a little more of a shape where they get wider at the waist. They live life from their gut. And so they're a little more belly oriented, softer, fluffier, kind of like more fat along the body. Okay. And then there's the somatotonic. Somatotonic is more muscle bound. So they're going to be kind of the classic Superman, where they have a little higher level of testosterone, broad shoulders, narrow waist. That's the somatotonic. The third is the cerebrotonic. And cerebrotonic is just not necessarily tall, but very, very lean. Very, very lean, and almost just kind of like up and down in a body type. Now, why is this important? Well, I outlined this for him, and I said, here's the three body types. Now, this one, the viscerotonic, which is his daughter, which is him, I said, here's the strength. The strength is that they love and are able to produce community. They love community. They love relationships. It's a natural strength for them to build relationships, and value community. They are the ones that are great at event planning, because they want to make sure everybody's needs are met. They make sure that it's all cordial, that everyone's having a good time, that they're being fed enough, their needs are met. They're being like nurtured, you know? Now, for this particular type, the greatest challenge that they're going to have is what's called pushing the start button, meaning getting going. And this, described in the book, is really a lifelong battle that will be expressed through the viscerotonic, because that is their general natural makeup. They're more likely to be sitting in community, to relax and sit and enjoy in community. And so they're not necessarily going to want to push the start button unless there is definitely community and relationships involved. So what we did notice is she was 12 years old, more viscerotonic, doesn't necessarily exercise on her own, but she is wildly in love with her, what's the activity? Cheerleading. And she's like, she moves on a dime to go to her cheerleading, like no problem whatsoever. But she leans into it because of the relationships in the community that she's building with the girls on her team. So she's leveraged by community. It's not necessarily the cheerleading that is the most inspiring act, but probably a big leverage for her is community. Now the somatotonics, muscle bound, more their strength is action and power. So they're going to have a hard time understanding this viscerotonic. Like they're just going to be like, well, just get going. Like just start, just do the program. Like just get going. Like just take action. And this viscerotonic is about yeah, like where's the people, you know? And it's like the start button's not so easily there. So that's why you get like a lot of personal trainers and viscerotonics hiring personal trainers, because the personal trainers are essentially helping to push the start button for the viscerotonics. The viscerotonics shouldn't expect to be inspired like the somatotonic. Shouldn't be inspired because these ones are all muscle and action and power bound. So they're naturally fueled. That's their strength. Their kryptonite is empathy. Their ability to drop into their heart center to really feel and empathize is their kryptonite. And it is a limiting factor in their experience. And so generally their call or quest is to be humbled into their heart so that they can empathize, okay? The third type is the cerebrotonic type, where they live basically, it's nervous system bound. So one is gut bound, one is muscle bound, one is nervous system bound. And you can see here, the strength is the intellect. They have very, very sharp, speedy, precise intellect, okay? On the kryptonite side, anxieties, and they question their own sanity. So sanity and anxiety is really a limiting factor for them. Empathy for the muscle bound, pushing the start button and getting going for the gut bound. Okay. So by knowing these, what you'll start to do is you'll start to get a sense for the why you struggle oftentimes in the areas that you struggle. Getting up and going, slowing down, and feeling into the heart is this challenge. And this challenge is actually feeling relaxed and because they're uptight and anxious and they get a wound nervous system. And because they're so lean and they don't have a lot of cushion between them and their nerves, like the muscle bound or the more fat bound, they're going to be very, very prone to neurological strain and stress and burnout because their nerves are so vulnerable. So, you know, just knowing these in the background, like when I'm working with clients, when I'm working with people, when I'm working on myself and noticing where I'm tending to be challenged, etc., I can refer to this chart because this chart to me is very, very helpful. So for parents, if you have kids, you know, just kind of like get the game because they're going to be like, well, why does this kid, you know, not want to do and want to play video games all day? But this one here is like ready to go and rip roar through the yard. And it's like, yeah, like a big part of them is going to be their skeletal and structural makeup that influences the psychological and value profiling that goes on and their strengths and weaknesses that are happening in their life. So it starts at a very early age. I've witnessed this in kids right from the get-go. So it carries through. It really does seem, it's maybe not scientific, but practically played out, I see a ton of accuracy in my day-to-day practice. I'm just leaving this up here, not to annoy you, but just so that you can like write down if you need something. Put it down. So I found that to be very, very useful to have maybe draw some understanding for yourself, your situation, challenges that you might have. And also for maybe your friends, your family, you can show them this video, share this video with them, because I think that there are a high number of people that really are on a quest to understand themselves on a deeper level. And to me, this is such a this is a very easy kind of invitation to open, to look at yourself a little bit more deeply and to begin the process of self-inquiry and understanding and seeing maybe your style and your type. There's lots of other things that you can go into, domains like human design, enneagrams, astrological things, etc. There's tons of things, tons of fun things that you can play with. But I found this to be pretty accurate across the board. Like it's a fun little thing to play with. It's very easy, very digestible. For the viscerotonic, very digestible. Yum yum. For the for the somatotonic, you'll understand how to push people a little bit more. And for the cerebrotonic, this will be another piece to add to your intellectual prowess and understanding. So whoever you are out there, hope you enjoy this little video, and hopefully it serves you. And I wish you all the best. Take care.